Hi there, my name's James Heidema. I'm an international trainer and a strategic coach. I've trained in excess of 174,000 people in over 55% of the world. So I've picked up a lot of practices, best practices along the way. But today I'd like to talk to you about why this business, why come into the financial services profession. So why this profession? People come into this profession, people do anything based upon their motivations. And there's 12 motivational factors that drive people. The five that I'm most familiar with are things like independence, recognition, achievement, power, money. Regardless of the reason you come into this business, you need to make sure that whatever that motivation is, that this profession will meet that motivation. Most often people come into the financial services industry because they see how well people do in it financially. You see the kind of lifestyle that they live, the houses they live in, the cars they drive, how well they dress, etc., etc. And they realize that it pays above average, and it certainly does. You know, I believe in this business there's no limits on how much you can earn. The only limits you ever put upon yourself, whether it's in this profession or any, are the limits you place upon yourself. And so the potential here to do well financially is significant. But there's a price to be paid, of course, and that's hard work. Like any profession, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, accountant, whatever trade you go into as an electrician or a plumber, whatever, there's a price that you pay. There's a learning curve, there's the effort that's required, there's the willingness to develop a work ethic where you're going to show up regardless of how poorly you may feel that day or how frustrated you may be with your work environment. You still contribute, you still continue, you still show up. And so if you want to come in this business, you know, there's a couple of things. I've shared this in other videos, but when I came in the business, I left a very good job. I had a company car. I was a director for a computer company. I, had a lifestyle, So it wasn't money that was my motivator, but what really motivated me was that I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to build something. And in the company I was in, it was as far as I could really go. I couldn't go any farther. So I knew there were limitations there, and there was also limitations on how much I could earn. There was a limitation of that I couldn't make a real difference in anybody's life. I mean, certainly we could sell our clients computer and all the other technology that supports the computer, but we're not really making a real difference, a lasting difference in their life. And my own approach to life is that I'm a very emotional guy, I'm a very personable guy, I'm a very high-touch guy, and so that I need to interact with people. I need to sort of help them move forward in their lives, and I saw the financial services industry as one that allowed that to happen. I was fortunate. I had a very good advisor. When I went into business, I was in my late 30s, I was married, a couple of kids, and I realized the importance of having insurance, investments, and savings and all of that, and I had done some of that. And so I saw in my advisor a certain lifestyle, a certain ability to make difference in people's lives, and I felt, well, I'd like to do that as well. And so I went out, and no one recruited me into the business. I actually went out there and knocked on people's door, and I interviewed with a couple of places where I expressed an interest. And the first one, the culture wasn't the culture that I was part of. It was an old boys club sort of thing, which held no appeal to me. And then I went and looked at another company. In my case, it was London Life, one of the largest insurance companies in Canada. And Kevin Spratt, my manager, was an amazing guy, and I was very impressed by him, and I was very impressed by the environment that he was creating within the team. And of course, London Life is a well-established organization with millions of policy owners, investors, and they had a lot of systems and processes that allow you to be successful if you adopt them, you memorize them, you practice them, and you take them to the market. And so the process for me getting into the industry is quite extensive, probably far more extensive than many other companies. It took me a number of it took me a number of weeks, if not months, to get in the business, because there's certain things I had to do and a number of interviews I had to participate in to make sure that they knew what they were getting and I knew what I was getting into. So when I became a manager, eventually after being an advisor for a number of years, I began to bring people in, and I always explained to them that it's a process of joint discovery. And in that process, the candidate, in the case of me, I could decide whether it's something I wanted to do. And in the case of Kevin, the manager, he was deciding whether he thought I could do it. And so really it's important that if you're considering this career, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you understand what you're getting into and that you don't make a decision too soon. Because if you make a decision too soon, you're not really making an informed decision. You may be making an emotional one because there's something you don't like or don't understand that's preventing you from moving forward. It's a pretty amazing profession to be in. It's a very noble profession. You know, throughout my life, I've had the experience of having clients die on me. I've had clients get sick and injured. I've had clients that need money for various reasons. And I'm the only person that delivers good news in those circumstances. You know, when our clients die too soon, we're the only one that delivers good news to the family that allows them time to mourn and not worry about their bills. When we're dealing with a client who gets injured or gets sick, and they need income, we're the one that delivers them the check that allows them to recover and not worry about paying bills. And for our clients who are investors, we help them accumulate, and throughout their life they're going to need money for those three reasons, which is, you know, they'll need money for emergencies. When the car breaks down, the fridge doesn't work, they'll have the money to pay for that without having to borrow that money. They'll have money for opportunities. If they want to buy a new car, they want to buy an apartment, they want to go on a trip, whatever they want to do, there's money that will be there for that purpose. And as well, when they retire, regardless of what the company does for them that they're working for, or the government does for them, it won't be enough. And so they have to set aside for themselves. And so we help our clients in those ways, in very meaningful ways. And of course, we're the only ones in those situations where we deliver the good news. We have the cash, the money's there. And I've seen that. I've delivered checks to surviving family members when they've lost someone. I've delivered checks to someone who has had a car accident and can't work for a number of months, or contracted some critical illness of some sort and needs money to pay the bills. And I've been the person that's delivered that. And I've been in the process when a client calls and said, I need X number of thousands of euros or dollars for any given reason, and we just cut them a check. We don't ask questions. I mean, however they need it, whatever they need it for is their decision, it's their money. We do encourage them to pay it back so they continue to accumulate for future needs, but it is their money. And so we're able to really make a difference in people's lives. And and when they accumulate capital, when they invest and save, it just transforms their future. They'll put themselves in a position where they'll have money for those reasons that only they have in the future. And otherwise they wouldn't be able to take advantage of those situations. And we've got to help people move away from living from paycheck to paycheck. Put them in a situation where they have a reserve. And it's really interesting when you look at wealthy people in the world. Most wealthy people pay themselves first, in that they set aside a portion of their income on a regular basis and they lived on the remainder rather than living from paycheck to paycheck. And so we're able to help in that way. And I've seen that. I've seen the joy. I've seen the sorrow. I've seen deep relationships with customers that continue to this day, that I sold them many years ago. I've been in the business for 35 years, I've been a very successful advisor and manager, and I've been an international trainer and traveled and picked up best practices around the world. And you see all of that, and you begin to see the nobility of this profession. Certainly people have opinions about our profession. Certainly within our profession there are some people that are unprofessional. We have to get rid of those people because they do damage to us. But for the majority of us out there, we're trying to do a job. We're trying to make a difference. We're trying to improve the quality of the life of the people we work with, and at the same time be rewarded for that, which is fair. We work very hard to do what we do because we take our products to the customer. The customer tends not to be knocking on our door. And so we're the ones that have to go out there and knock on their doors. And that's a process, and that is challenging, and it takes strong people to do that. But we do have systems and processes that help you with that if you're willing to adopt them. And so this is a very good profession. It's a profession worth looking at. And do your own research, do your own decision making. Don't rely on your family and friends who have opinions about what the industry is without really knowing what the industry is. Come and meet with a manager within your country, within your city, who's with a recognizable professional organization, and have a conversation. You lose nothing by having a conversation. There's no risk to you other than you're going to gain some information. So it is a very good profession, a noble profession, and I'm happy that I'm still in it, and I encourage you to take a look. If you've enjoyed this video, I've produced a number of others. Please remember to subscribe and like and share it, and if you have questions or comments or things you'd like to talk about, then leave a comment and I'll respond to that. I wish you great success. Bye for now.